Hi, and welcome to my 15 new Microsoft Excel features for Excel 2019 and 365. I'm Kurt Kershaw, and I'll be taking you through the course. Now, a lot of these new features in Excel are more for the intermediate users. If you don't know anything about Excel, or you're a little bit familiar, I recommend that you take my Excel Level 1 course for beginners and then move up to Level 2 intermediate. That way you become more comfortable with these new intermediate features that I'm going to introduce you to. Now there's a total of 15 new features. I'm going to go over each one briefly, and we'll begin with the first one, and that's, okay, it's not selecting cells, but have you ever started selecting a bunch of cells and you made a mistake where you had to click off to start over again? With this new feature, you're going to save time. Number 2, sound feedback. You can enhance productivity with audio cues. So with this feature turned on, you'll hear different sounds in different parts of Excel depending upon what you're doing, that then you can familiarize yourself with those sounds and become more productive. Number 3, accessibility checker. Okay, accessibility is not new to Excel. It's to help those with disabilities navigate through your Excel workbook. But what is new is when Excel makes a suggestion and it wants you to fix one of those issues, you can now fix it in a single click. Number 4, Sprechen Sie Deutsch. You can now translate from one language into another. Number 5, CONCAT, new and improved CONCATENATE function that does the same thing. It combines contents of 2 or more cells, but it has 2 new additional features that I think you'll find helpful. Number 6, there's a new if function in town, and it's ifs. I didn't slur, it's if with an S. Have you ever tried to nest one if function into another because you have to perform more than one logical test to be able to get the results you want? Well, when it comes to the ifs, it makes it easier to write those nested if functions, as it were, and also be able to read. Number 7, maximum and minimum functions now have conditions or criteria that you can set before it finds the highest or the lowest values within a given data range. Number 8, switch function. You can switch from one value to another. Number 9, the TEXTJOIN function will combine text using a special character known as the delimiter, either a comma, semicolon, or space are the more popular delimiters, and I go over that in earlier training videos of Excel. Number 10, finally we get the funnel chart, yay! You can display values across multiple stages in a process. So for example, let's say that you're the hiring manager and you have 100 candidates. Well, there's the top part of the funnel. As you go through all the interviews, you start narrowing them down until you can get one. That's your funnel. Number 11, map charts. Quickly create powerful data visualizations from geographic data. If you have data, you can plot it anywhere in the world. For example, like the United States, you can plot your data by county, state, oh, even city. I missed the city there. You can also plot it in other countries and throughout the entire world, or include the entire world. Number 12, pivot table defaults. So have you ever created a pivot table and you got the layout just so? You can now save it, so any future pivot tables you create, it'll now have that layout. Number 13, the Draw tab. New and improved ink features. You like my drawings there? No, it's not mine. But hey, with this new and improved ink features, you do get pencils and pens with fun colors that I think you'll find cool and very graphic, as you see here. Number 14, 3D models. You can increase visual and creative impacts of your workbook. Now I'm going to get a bit unprofessional here. This is my PowerPoint presentation about Excel 2019. I'm going to hit the escape key to go to the design view where I inserted the 3D model here. And it's the same with Excel. When you insert one of these 3D models and you hover over the center, where you can see you got arrows turning in on themselves. When you click and drag, looky there, you can move them around. Oh, that's so cool. We can have them come right at us. Oh no, he's charging. And then go back to the PowerPoint presentation here on our 3D models. So you can do that not only in Excel but also PowerPoint, and you can add animation to PowerPoint, which is really cool. Number 15, icons. Visually communicate using symbols. As if you didn't have enough symbols, well, you get a lot more. And what makes me qualified to teach this course, I've been certifying in Microsoft Office beginning back in 2000, well, especially as an Excel specialist and expert, and there's all my other Office certifications for Access, Outlook, PowerPoint, and Word. And again, I started certifying back in 2000, and again in 2002, 2003, 2007, 2010, 2013, 2016, and if you need to rewind the video, please do so. And I'm now looking forward to 2019. I hope you'll take the course and join me. It'll be a lot of fun. New to Excel 2019 is the ability to deselect your selection. So for example, if I click and drag and I select a range of cells and I want to select them like non-linearly, I can hold down the Control key and click and drag and even click to select other cells or ranges of cells. If I want to deselect them, in earlier versions of Excel, you'd have to click off and deselect everything and then start over again. Well, new to Excel 2019, let me click and drag, hold down the Control key, click and drag, click, click, click. And then if I want to deselect, like this range right here, made a mistake, I could hold down the Control key, click and drag, and poof, it's gone. Hold down the Control key, click there, it's gone. Control click arrange, and it's gone. Hey, isn't that marvelous? You don't have to click off and start the selection process all over again. New to Excel 2019 is the sound feedback feature, where it provides sound effects. And sound effects can enhance your productivity in Excel by providing audio cues. For example, a sound cue might notify you when the options on the screen change, or a sound can confirm that an action like copying, pasting, formatting actually completed. So to turn this feature on, let's go backstage, click on File, and let's scroll down to Options. Click on the Ease of Access category, and there you go, Feedback Options. Go ahead and check Provide Feedback with Sound, and you get to choose a sound scheme like Modern or Classic, but I'm feeling kind of hip, so I'll go with Modern. And then go ahead and click Okie dokie, and now when you perform an action like, let's do Save, and you can hear the sound when I click on it. There's your sound cue. You know you saved now. What about copying and pasting? So let me select a cell and do Control-C to copy. And let's do Control-V as in Victor to paste. You get that sound like somebody spitting. Okay, let's go ahead and hit the Escape key. And then one last one. Let's go ahead and select a range and apply a fill color to it, like that color. And let's say that we want to copy the formatting of that range down to the adjacent rows by hovering over the bottom right hand corner of the selected range to use the autofill handle. You know, when you see the black cross, we covered this in an earlier training video. Click and drag it, and when you let go, you get another sound cue. There you go. And then you can go ahead and click on the autofill options and say you just want to fill formatting only. Well, those are some pretty cool sound cues. Now keep in mind that when you turn this on, it turns it on in all of Microsoft Office applications. So if I go to Word, the sound cues will work in there, and also Access, and vice versa. If you go ahead and you turn it off in Word, it turns it off in Excel and all the other Office applications. The Accessibility Checker checks the workbook for content that people with disabilities might find difficult to read, and new to Excel 2019 is the One-Click Fixes Accessibility Issues feature. So first of all, to find out if I have any issues for those with disabilities when it comes to reading my workbook or the worksheet here, let's come up and click on the Review tab, go to the Accessibility group, and there you go, check Accessibility. Go ahead and click on it, opens up the task pane over to the right, and these are the warnings that it found. Like it doesn't like merge cells, and the merge cells that it sees is D2 through E2. So there's D2, and you see how it goes across to E2. So new to Excel 2019 is the one fix click. So how do you fix it in one click? You come over here and hover over it, you click on the drop down arrow. Okay, it's going to be 2 clicks. You click on the drop down arrow, and then you do the one click here to unmerge it. And then it disappears, no more warnings. The next thing that it finds an issue with is the generic names. It wants us to define what's actually on sheet 1, like this is my cells for gummy bears. It wants me to rename it. So to fix it in one click, first click on the first click, and then rename the sheet, and then it puts it in edit mode. So it's highlighted with the cursor flashing at the end. So you can just go ahead and type over it. It accepts it the moment you hit the enter key, and hey, no accessibility issues found. People with disabilities should not have difficulty reading this workbook. Awesome. Also new to Excel 2019 is the Translate feature, where you can translate selected text into a different language. Like if I want to find out what the translation is from English profits to Spanish or German, select it, come up here, click on the Review tab, go to the Language group, and click on Translate. Opens up the task pane, translator. It's translating from English, which it detected, profits to, okay, English again, but we can change that. We can go ahead and click on the drop down arrow and choose German. Select it, and it's Gewein, and not the kind you drink. And I can go ahead and flip that if I want. So I can click on the arrows to go from translator, from what it is in German, down to English. And I'll flip it back. Now that's for one word in a cell. How about if I had a bunch of words? Let's go ahead and click in an empty cell and type in happy to be alive. Let's go ahead and select it so it updates it. Translation to German is glücklich am Leben zu sein. I'll remember that next time I visit Germany. To combine the contents of two or more cells into one, like if I want the last name and the first name over here to have the full name, then, well, let me show you the first way. By using the CONCAT or CONCATENATE function. And I say both because new to Excel 2019, they've updated the concatenate function. Let me show you. Go ahead and type in equals, type in conk or just conc. Here's the old legacy version concatenate, and you can see it's got a little yellow yield sign, meaning that it's going to be done away with. Because new and improved, that also does what this says here, combines two or more cells or joins them. Well, let me arrow down. You can see the definition of concatenate. Joins several text strings into one text string. So the concat concatenates, which is what we just read here, a list of range of text strings. Now, not only does it do that, but it does two additional things that the concatenate, the old legacy function, cannot do. So let's just go ahead and go with concat. With it highlighted, hit the tab key to pop it open, and there's the function, there's the first argument. And the first argument says, okay, here's the first text that you want, where's that? Text 1. Well, it's the last name, so go ahead and select cell B5. Then hit comma to go to the second text, or text 2. So there's the second argument, and it's going to be the first name in cell C5. Are we good? Alrighty, hit enter, and there you go. Okay, there we go again. It's all combined. I want it separated. So we're going to have to fix this Klinger Max so I get my comma space before the first name by coming back up here into the formula bar and click just before C after the comma, and I'm going to type in open quotes, comma, space, close quotes, comma. So now it pushed C5 that used to be in the second argument, text 2, over into text 3, because in its place is, when I click in it, you can see now it's bold. That text 2 is the open quotes, and within it is the quotes, and within it is the comma space. So hit enter, and oh, that feels so much better. It looks good too. And now we can go ahead and copy and paste that. Now, in addition to doing it this way, because the old concatenate legacy function can do that, you can also, if you have a need for this, let me go ahead and type in concat again with it highlighted, hit the tab key, is you can select a range like the last names and combine them all together. You want to see? Just hit enter after you select it, and there you go, all slammed together. It doesn't allow me to insert space, but if you need to slam a range together and you're okay with it the way it's displayed that way, you're good to go. And also, let me select it, hit the delete key. If you want the last name to be included, concat, there we go. With it highlighted, hit the tab key to pop open the function. There's the first argument. And let's go ahead and select last name column and then go over to the first name column. Hit enter, and there you go. Klinger Max. There it is. Klinger Max, then Appleman Bob, and it continues. And you can just hover to the right-hand side of that column, the column header, until you can see arrows pointing in opposite directions. Click and drag, and keep dragging because it goes on forever. And let's go ahead and hit undo a couple of times. And that's based upon that function. And so if you want the results of the function instead of the function up here in the formula bar, because I don't want to stretch that column open, you can go ahead with the selected, copy it, you get the marching ants, right click on it, and you want to go to paste values. When you paste it, it overwrites it. So when you look up here in the formula bar, there you go. You no longer have to see the function, because we want to be able to see the contents of that cell without actually expanding the cell, because that's just too huge. And hit undo. And then, of course, over to the right of the formula bar, you can expand it if it had more lines, and you can hover over the bottom border of it and click and drag that down so you can see even more. Okay, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but let's go ahead and click and drag that back up, and then we can go ahead and collapse it. And go over next the new ifs function and see that the difference between the two, where the if function That's a little bit hard to read. After I show you the is function, you might think that it might be easier to read with multiple conditions. So let's go ahead and do it. Type in equals ifs. We're going to do the same thing, but with the is function, it's going to be a little bit different. You can see right there, checks whether one or more conditions are met and returns a value corresponding to the first, hover over it, click and drag it to the first true condition. Okay, highlighted, hit the tab key to pop open. What's the logical test? The logical test is, well, it's got to be the average grade, and it's got to be greater than 90, because 91 would be an A, so we do comma. And you can see when I do comma, it says, what's the value if it's true? Well, if it's true, open quotes A, close quotes, comma. Then the next logical test. You see how it doesn't have false? So if it's false, we'd have to nest in another is function. Well, that's the first difference. So we just go ahead and continue the test until we get to the end, and I'll show you what happens at the end when we want to display the F if they don't meet above 60. So let's go ahead and do, it's the same thing. F7 has got to be greater than 80, comma, to get a B, comma, F7's got to be greater than 70, comma, open quotes, to get a C. Okay, I better do uppercase C, close quotes, comma. Then F7 has to be greater than 60, comma, open quotes, to get a D, comma, and then at this point I'm like, okay, it's got all the tests that have been met in order to get a D grade or above. But to get an F, well, what's the logical test? I don't have any more tests. What you can do is you can go ahead and type in the function true. Yeah, there's a true function out there, TRU. Oh, so true. There you go. True returns a logical value true. In other words, we're saying that this next test is going to be true. And let me explain it after I hit the tab key to pop it open, comma, because it's true, open quotes, F, close quotes. Now see if this makes sense. Everything else that it meets, it'll get either an A grade, a B grade, a C, a D, and if it doesn't meet anything from, well, above 60, greater than 60, then the rest is going to be true because it'll be 60 or less. That will be an F. So let's go ahead and do close parentheses, hit enter, and there you go. Let's go ahead and select it. Hover over the bottom right hand corner, black autofill handle, double click really fast, and there you go. So tell me, looking up here in the formula bar, which one's easier to read, to digest? Is it the ifs with the S that you can say if it meets that, A if it meets that, B if it meets that, C, and so on, or up here where it goes, if it meets that, A, okay, that's if it doesn't, then go ahead, it has to meet that, then it'll be, okay, if it doesn't, and if it meets that, it has to be C. If it doesn't, it has to meet that, then it's a D, and then the final thing is false. So you may find one a lot easier to work with. To me, I think when it comes to readability about what's going on, the ifs has it hands down. But hey, that's just me. You may find that the if function works better for you. Now, having seen that, if you want to go back to, let's do the promotion here, we had the two conditions that had to be met, the AND function where it has to be greater than 5, and the total sales had to be greater than 500,000. So let's go ahead and delete that. And let's select it so you can take a snapshot in your mind, and let's do the ifs. Because remember, the last one is false. And so for the if function to be true, there is no false. It's like the new age if function, like, hey, everything's beautiful. There's no such thing as false. Everything's true. Even an F is true. Oh man, that's getting cosmic. Okay, so let's go ahead and type in equals ifs. And there we go. Hit the tab key to pop it open. We want the logical test. We want two logical tests, which you can go ahead and do the AND function. But this one has one logical test after another if it's true, but we need to have it meet two conditions, not just one, and then automatically be true. Okay, let's go ahead and type in AND. Hit the tab key to pop it open, and we want two logical tests. The first one's going to be, well, the total sales. Let's do that one first. It's got to be greater than 500,000, comma. The next logical test has got to be the years of service, which has got to be greater than. You can see I'm typing it over here. D7 is greater than 5. Go ahead and close the parentheses, hit the comma to go to, well, what if that's true? If it's true, then we do open set of quotes, and we say happy days, close quotes, and then comma. Now remember, there's no false in ifs. Everything's true, even if you don't get a promotion. But to get around that, we have to use the true function, In this example, TRU, hit the tab key to pop it open, comma, and if it's true, then you can say try again. Close quotes. We'll do the close parentheses there, hit enter, and there you go. Try again. Select it, bottom right hand corner, double click. There we go, happy days. Same thing. So you see up here where you get to the end, you can say everything else has been met. Whatever it doesn't is true in the sense that that's the final result. Try again. Where in the if function, if it doesn't mean anything, what's the final false value? Then you type in try again. So like I said, you can compare and contrast between the two. It's your flavor. Choose which one works best for you. I find the new if function is a little bit easier to read when it comes to nesting one function within another function, or as we went back here to the grade sheet, that this is a lot easier to read the ifs than having the if within the if function to add that extra test. The extra test that it has to meet to produce one grade for those separate values for the A, B, C, D, and F. New to Excel 2019 is the MAXIFS and MINIFS functions. As you recall in an earlier training video, we learned about the max and min functions. Well, here we're going to be using the same functions, relatively speaking, but only if one or more conditions needs to be met prior to finding the highest maximum value or the lowest minimum value in a given range. And as you can see, if you watched the previous training video, I'm using the same database, but if you didn't watch it, let me scroll down to show you that it's pretty small and scroll back up. And I want to use these two functions to answer these two questions. The first question is what is the lowest sedative oil price? So you get a customer that says, hey man, the holidays are totally bringing me over. They're very stressful. I don't want to spend any more money than I have to. So can you find me a sedative to kind of mellow my mood out, but the one that costs the least? So we're looking at the minimum function. So we'll type in equals min. And then because it's based upon a condition that it has to be a sedative, not a stimulant, because, well, that'd put them over the edge. Then we want to type in if. Now notice how it doesn't have a singular function where it's just set up to do one condition. As you recall in the previous training video, the sum if, count if, and average if, and then it had the plural versions of that for two or more conditions. As I mentioned in the previous training video, those plural versions, as the one here, can also do a single condition. So Microsoft is like, why have more than one when we can just have one, the plural, that does not only multiple conditions, but also can do a single condition. So let's go ahead with that highlighted, hit the tab key to pop open the function. It says, what's the minimum range that you want to look at to find the lowest cost, or in this case, price? And it's over here in the price column, so let's click and drag to select it. That's going to be the minimum, but let me scroll back up. Hit comma to advance to the next argument in the syntax to set the criteria range that it has to meet, which is going to be the sedative. So the sedative is in the category column. So click and drag to select that criteria range, and then hit comma. Let me roll back up, and then set the criteria. Now that's in bold, that argument, to set the criteria for that selected range. Open quotes, and it's got to be sedative. I better make sure I spell that right. And then close quotes, and then it continues on. You see, it doesn't stop you and say, look, you have to have two or more, otherwise we're just not going to do it. I just have one, so we're good to go. We can stop right there, close the parentheses, hit enter, and what's the lowest sedative oil price? It's $28. You want to verify that? Of course you do. So let's look for sedative. There's a sedative here. What's the price? $36. The next sedative is $28. And any more? Okay, that's 47, so the lowest in that range there that it met the condition of a sedative is $28. Now you're probably thinking, okay, well, the customer needs to know the name of the oil, and I do too. We've got a lot more to cover, other functions that will help you extract that name as well as the value. So it can put it up here and say, okay, lavender. So you don't have to go, okay, $28, let me hurry and look for 28, there it is, and it's lavender. Right here I want to keep it simple so we can learn the new functions to Excel, MAXIFS and MINIFS. So let's go to the next one. What is the highest price antibacterial oil with 10 or more in stock? Now the highest price, that would be the maximum function, antibacterial. And the reason why we're probably looking for that is because if we have more than 10 in stock, we're just not moving inventory. So we probably want to lower the price. So to do that, let's do equals max, the highest price, but because it has to meet, well, in this case, two conditions, let's do, well, still the same, ifs, with it highlighted. Hit the tab key to pop open the function. Okay, what's the range that we want to look for? The highest value, the maximum value, and that's the price. So click and drag to select the price range, and let's roll back up. And go to the next argument in the syntax, hit comma, and what's the criteria range? Well, the first one is it's got to be an antibacterial oil. So let me hover over this pop-up note, click and drag that out of the way, and then I can see it here. So click and drag the category column, and then I can roll back up, hit comma, and then what's the criteria for that criteria range? And so it's going to be open quotes, antibacterial, make sure I spelled it correctly, close quotes, comma, and then it advances to the second criteria range that has to meet the second criteria for that second criteria range. And that's going to be in stock, 10 or more. So it's going to be the in stock range, click and drag, and then roll back up, hit comma, and it's got to be 10 or more, so open quotes. Now, since it has to be 10 or more, it can be greater than or equal to 10. Close quotes, and let's close the parentheses. Hit enter, and what's the highest priced antibacterial oil with 10 or more in stock? It's $39.33. And like I said, there are other functions that I'll go over later on that will actually pull in the name along with the price. And so if we want to do a little research here, antibacterial oil, well, we have one, and there's one right there, the one that has $39.33, but it's going to be the highest price that's in stock, antibacterial, and that is 10 or more, and also that is, but between the two, that one's the higher price. And do we have any more antibacterial? Yes, we have here, but it's not 10 or more, so it's not going to be included in the comparison of 10 or more. And any more? No, that's it. So it just compared these two right here, and it found out between the two that the maximum value is $39.33. New to Excel 2019 is the switch function, which allows you to select a value you want to switch with another value. That is, if it matches the criteria that you set. So let's start off with something very basic with the switch function, like 1, 2, 3. Well, that's very basic. And to the right of the 1, I'm going to enter in the switch function equals switch. There it is. Okay, let me click and drag it up and to the top so we can read it in its entirety. Evaluates an expression, so it can be a value or a function against a list of values, the criteria, and returns the result corresponding to the first matching value. If there is no match, an optional default value is returned. So having said that, with it highlighted, hit the tab key to pop open the function. And what's your first expression? I'm keeping it very basic. It's not a function or formula. It's a simple number in the cell 1. Select it, then comma, go to the next argument, and it says, what's the value that it has to match from that cell? Again, I'm going to keep it very simple. Let's say it's got to match 1, which of course is going to match it, comma. Then if it does match 1, what result do you want it to have? Now you can type in a formula or you can type in some text. So if it's a formula, you could do something like select the cell and multiply it by 2. Keep it very basic. And then we can continue this, comma. How about the second value? Well, if it matches 2, comma, then the result of that match is going to be, let's do some text. We're number 2. Oh, poo. And then let's comma, and we can continue on as long as we want. Well, as near as I can tell here, I haven't taken it to the extreme yet. But if we want to end it and say it doesn't matter what other values there are, if we're done with it, if it doesn't match those two, then you can just simply end the match and say that there's no match for anything else but the numbers 1 and 2. So hit enter, and looky there. Hey, it did see the 1, it found a match, and then the result value was to take that cell and multiply it by 2. 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, that was simple. and then we want to do our copy and paste. So hover over the bottom right hand corner to click and drag it down to copy and paste the function, and there you go. We're in number 2. Oh poo. And then of course we didn't have any matching values, so there's no match. Now that was the basics, right? Let me clear my board, select the range, hit the delete key on the keyboard. And what I want to do here is I want to do something a bit more complex, actually finish off what we started in the previous training video, the weekday function. You know how you can select a date with the weekday function and it returns the day of the week? Well, in number format, like 1 would be Sunday, 2 would be Monday, 3 would be Tuesday, and so on. Well, hey, with the switch function, in conjunction with the weekday function, we can have, instead of those numbers from the weekday, get the results of the actual day of the week. You know, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So here's how it's going to go down. Let's select just to the right here. We've got the date, and what day is that? Well, let's type in equals, and then we'll start with our switch function, switch, to get it open. With it highlighted, hit the tab key to pop it open. And the expression that we want is we want a value. And that value is going to be based upon the date here. Because remember the weekday function? Let's type in week. There you go, weekday. Returns a number from 1 to 7 identifying the day of the week of a date. So it'll give us the number from the weekday function. Let me hit the tab key to pop it open. It says, where's the serial number? Well, the serial number is what the date is based upon. It's just that it's converted to the date number format. So let's select that because behind the scenes it'll see the serial number. And if you haven't watched the previous training video on the weekday function, I recommend that you do because I'm assuming that you've seen it and you understand the weekday, but let's continue here. And then comma, and it says, what numbers do you want to represent the days of the week? Do you want number 1 to be Sunday and then go all the way through 7 to Saturday? Or do you want the number 1 to be Monday? I want it to be the first one here. I like that best. Double click on it. 1 is the option. Go ahead and close parentheses. There's our expression, which has the value, comma, and then once it gets that value, what's the match? Remember, 1 through 7 is Sunday through Saturday, so if it's 1, that's the value, comma, then the result is going to be, open quotes, Sunday. But let's do this instead. Let's say we just want to find out if any of these holidays are on a weekday, because if they are, then that's going to interrupt our work week. If it's on a weekend, well, let's just say we still come in on the weekday and they don't get to make up for it. So to focus on just Monday through Friday to see if any of these dates here are on a Monday through Friday, then we know Sunday, number 1, we don't care about that. It's going to be 2 for Monday, and we'll type in open quotes Monday, close quotes, comma, and now the second default value is going to be 3, that's going to be for Tuesday, comma, open quotes, Tuesday, close quotes, comma, 4, comma, open quotes, Wednesday, whew, this is a lot of typing, comma, 5, comma, open quotes, Thursday, comma, we're almost done, we're getting to the weekend, hang on, we can do it, we made it to Friday, yay, Friday, close quotes, and then we can go ahead and close the parentheses. So see if this makes sense. It's looking at that cell right there, using the weekday function to return a value, and the weekday function is going to return the numbers 1 through 7. If it matches 2, then it'll return Monday, 3, Tuesday, and so on. But if it doesn't find a match, well, we better have a value if it doesn't find a match to let us know that, hey, there is no match, but it is optional, so it's your flavor. In fact, let's do it without the match. Hit enter, and it's Tuesday. Let me select it, hover over the bottom right-hand corner, click and drag the black autofill handle down, and instead of the ugly not applicable, we could have it say it's on a weekend or there's no match. So if we come back up here and go back up into the formula bar and click at the very end and type in comma, and then say the last one is the default value for if there is no matching value, because you see it's going to match 2 to get us that, 3 to get us that. When we get to the end, when it matches 6 to Friday, if there's no other matches to match the text here, then this is the default text that's going to be returned, or the value, where we could say it's a weekend dash no match, close quotes. Hit enter, and then we want to go ahead and select the cell, hover over the bottom right hand corner, double click really fast, and there you go, weekend no match. And of course, you don't have to have this. You could have it for every day of the week. Simply have to add 1 for Sunday at the beginning here, or you can do it at the end if you want. In fact, let's do that. So you can see that it doesn't matter what order you have it in. So if I go 1, comma, and then that's Sunday, and then the other one would be 7, comma, for Saturday. Hit enter, and there it is, right there, Sunday. So it doesn't have to be in any particular order, sorted numerically, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because we went down to 1 and then up to 7. New to Excel 2019 is the TEXTJOIN feature, and it combines or concatenates a list or range of text strings using a delimiter, and a delimiter is a special character that separates text or values. So for example, if I want a list of all my holidays here, instead of in this column format, but all put into one cell and separated by a delimiter, like I said, a special character like a comma, then let's type in equals text, there you go, TEXTJ for TEXTJOIN, concatenates a list or range of text strings using a delimiter. With it highlighted, hit the tab key to pop open the function, and the first argument it wants in bold is the delimiter. So to set that, I'm going to do open quotes and then type in your special character, something special. Let me type in comma space and close quotes, and I added the space because when I'm going to join all the holidays together into this one cell, well, first of all, I don't want them crammed all together, so I got a delimiter, a comma that's going to separate them. But even so, I don't want New Year's, comma, President's Day. I want New Year's, comma, and then a space, and then President's Day, and so on. So that's why I have an open quotes, comma, space, close quotes. Then comma. Now, you got the option of true or false. True, do you want to ignore empty cells, or false, include empty cells? So if you have all these gaps, do you want to ignore them or include them? I'm going to say ignore them. Well, it doesn't matter. I don't have any empty cells with the range that I'm going to be selecting for the holidays, which is A2 through A10. I kind of sounded British there, didn't I? Holidays. In any case, let's just hit the tab key to pop open true, comma, and then select your text. And it's going to be these holidays. Select the range, hit enter, and it puts them all together into one little cell. Well, you have the function here, and there's the results of the function. New Year's, comma, space, President's Day, comma, space, all the way over to Christmas. All right, let's do another one. How about holidays and days? Now I want to combine the holidays and the day. How do you do that? Well, it says day, days down here. In any case, type in equals. Let's bring up our TEXTJOIN again. And then hit the tab key to pop open the function. And for the delimiter, use the same thing. I like that. Open quotes, comma, space, close quotes, comma. And then we'll say true again. Just hit the tab key, comma. And then where's the text? Instead of one column, we're going to click and drag and select both columns. And let's see how it handles it. Hit enter. Hey, looky there. It went New Year's, Tuesday. And that's a match because on New Year's, the day of New Year's is Tuesday. Well, we did this in an earlier training video for the year 2019. And so we've got that. Then it goes comma, President's Day, which is on a Monday, St. Patrick's Day, which is on a Sunday, and so on. You can do it that way, or if you want just a little bit more control, I got something fancier that we can look at, the delimiter. Now for the holidays, I want it to be a comma, and for the end of the combination of holidays and day, I want a semicolon to separate it from the next holiday with its day, semicolon, the next holiday and its day. So let's get started. Equals TEXTJOIN, there you go. Hit the tab key, the delimiter. I'm going to select these two cells right here. So it's going to include, as it goes from left to right, after the holiday, we'll have a comma, and then it'll include the day, and then semicolon. And then go to the next holiday. As you see here, it went from New Year's to Tuesday, which is New Year's to Tuesday. So in the column format, it goes from left to right, then top to bottom. So for the delimiters, it's going to go from left, after the first holiday, to the right, at the end of its day, semicolon, and then beginning the next row, President's Day, comma, Monday, semicolon, and then top to bottom. So let's do comma. Again, I don't have any empty cells to ignore. I'll just hit the tab key and accept true anyways, comma. And then the text, well, it's up here again, the same range, A2 through B10. Hit enter. Hey, there you go, New Year's, comma, on a Tuesday, semicolon, for the next holiday and its day that it can be found on, a Monday, but it doesn't look all that nice to me. It's kind of a bit squished, it's feeling uncomfortable. Guess what? You can make some changes here because it's based upon these two cells, the function that is. So how about if we change it from a comma to a dash? I knew you'd like that. So double click inside the cell, hit the backspace key. This time I'm going to hit the space, dash, space. So I have a space before and a space after the dash, hit enter. And looky there, it updated it. Oh, that's fabulous. So how about the semicolon delimiter? Again, I think we need a space there. Just double click, hit the space bar, add a space, hit enter, and it updates it down below. Oh, that's beautiful. New to Excel 2019 is the funnel chart, and it's used to show values across multiple stages in a process. For example, I have my sales pipeline database here, where I'm going to show the number of sales prospects at each stage in a sales pipeline. Typically, the values decrease, as you can see here, gradually that is, allowing the bars to resemble a funnel. So first of all, before we create this funnel chart, you can see that we've got the largest value up at the top going down to the smallest. See if this makes sense. So I have my prospects when I want to sell a group of people or a bunch of companies a product or a service, and we start with 500, then it narrows it down to 425 because out of the 500, only 425 are actually qualified, whatever our qualifiers are. And then from there we do a needs analysis saying, do you really need us? Let's analyze. And if they do, and they meet our additional qualifiers as it were, then we go on to the price quote. And you can see that we're gradually breaking it down so not everybody's going to get up to the point of a price quote. And if they do, they may say, it's too much, so we may lose some of them. In which case, to not lose all of them, we may have to negotiate the price. And then finally, out of the negotiations, we keep the majority of those, and we only lose like maybe 10%. So to be able to create this funnel chart, let's select any cell within our data range. Make sure that your database is built correctly. I have my row header, the headings for each column, in a different format from the rest of the data down below. So when I insert my funnel chart, it can recognize the labels for each of the columns. And then come up here, click on the Insert tab, go to the Charts group, and come up, and there you go. You can see when I hover over that little icon, Insert Waterfall. Oh, that sounds lovely. Funnel, that's what we want. Click on it, and there's our funnel. Let's go ahead and click on it, and okay, the values, that's horrifying. I have to hover over it to really see it in the pop-up. Okay, that's not going to work. Let me select my chart, come up here, click on the Design tab, and we learned this in an earlier training video on how to format your charts. And let's hover over that one. Oh, that pops. Okay, select that one, and there you go. New to Excel 2019 are the map charts, where you can quickly create powerful data visualizations from geographic data. So for example, I have a small table here of countries and the percent of the world's population they represent. Like China represents almost 20% of the world's population, all the way down to 0.031%. I only selected a few countries. And if I want to be able to see that visually on a map, then select any cell within the table, or if it's a data range, select a cell there. And then come up here and click on the Insert tab, and go to the Charts group, and it's right there, Maps. Click on it, and well, right now Microsoft just has the field map. It says more map charts, but right now there's just one that's available. I assume they'll be coming out with more soon. Select it, and there you go. You get a map chart of all the countries within our table here. The one that has the highest in percent of the world's population is the darkest color, and that's China. You can see when I hover over it, there you go, it's got the pop-up, the value. You can see over here the darkest color is going to be 18.5% of the world's population to the, well, least 0.031. Again, only those countries that I have selected in my table here that I've included. All the others don't have a color to it in any shade of blue, just a neutral gray. Now you need to know when it comes to inserting a map chart that the chart is going to plot the first column in this example, for example, to the right of the country, and the first column and the only column is the percent of world population. Now I do have additional columns, but they're hidden right now. As you can see up here, we have column B and it goes to F. It skips column C through E. So to expand that, click on the plus sign, and it's going to immediately plot the column to the right of the country, which is series. So instead of percent of world population, you can see now it's series. So that could be very helpful if you want to be able to analyze on your map with the country here, like the GDP, the population, that just has to be immediately to the right of the country. And so there's a couple ways you can do this. One that we covered in another training video is how to group and outline your data. That's one way. Another way is to simply, like for example, if I want to focus on the GDP, I could right click on the column header C and go down to hide, and immediately to the right of the country is the GDP. There you go. You can see it over here, GDP. So gross domestic product, the highest is going to be the darkest blue, the United States. Now we can format the chart area if you like. Find a blank area. I don't want to format the plot area. You can see when I select it, now I can see the outline of the plot area. I want to come outside of that and right click in a blank area of the chart to go down to Format Chart Area, select that. And let me scroll over to the right so we can see the chart. And then come over here in the task pane where it says Chart Options and click on the triangle to go down. And let's go down to Series, select that. And then come over here and select Series Options because I want to change the series color. I don't like the dark blue thing, it's not working for me. The gradient from a light to a dark blue, so expand series color. And you can see for the lowest value, it's a light shade of blue. How about if we change that and we go to, let's do more colors, and click and drag this up to red. You can see it's a light shade of red. So click Okie dokie, there's a light shade of red, and let's go to the highest value, click on it, and say it's going to be pure red. Select that, and there you go. Maybe that pops for you. It does for me. Of course, you get more options here. Sequential 2 color, click on it. You can do diverging 3 color. Let me go to the next worksheet, the United States, and this is just a data range, not a table. And close out of here the task pane. Let's do it again. So I have the states in the United States. Let's come up here, click on the Insert tab. Go to the Charts group, click on Maps, there we go, Field Map, and click and drag this over to the right. And so what it's doing right now is you can hover over that, the population for Los Angeles, and so it wants to pull it up by city here, and I don't want it by city, I want the population by state. So I can come up here and click on C and go over to E and right click on that to hide those columns, and there you go, watch it update. So now it's going to go by state, the population here, and again, you know how to change the color if you'd like to change the color. In fact, if you want to be able to change the design for the chart, select it. You know how to do it because we covered this in a couple of training videos where you can come up here, click on the Design tab, hover over. If you like that, go for it. You can change the colors. In any case, I leave that up to you. Right now, it's good to know that we can actually create powerful data visualizations from our geographic data, either for one country or another or the entire world. Now, new to Excel 2019 is the default layout options for your pivot table. In other words, you can come up here and go backstage, File, go down to Options, come up and click on the data group, and it's right there, make changes to the default layout of pivot tables. Click on it, and there you go. So the layout import, in other words, if you want to go ahead and you want to update the defaults with the changes you made here, you can go ahead and click on import, pulls everything that you did over here, and that's going to be your new default layout when you create pivot tables. You can see that you can have it show all subtotals at the top of a group, or change it, say anytime you want to do it is show all subtotals at the bottom, or don't even show it. That could be the default for your new pivot tables. When it comes to grand totals, it's going to be defaulted for on rows and columns. You can change that. Report layout, show in compact form. You can also have your insert blank line after each item. So the moment you create your pivot table, it'll automatically have that blank line as we just inserted here. I'm going to uncheck that. You also have your pivot table options. Click on that and it opens up an entirely different world here, like the layout and format. For error values, show this. For empty cells, show that. And you can change any of this, unchecking it. I'll let you go through all of it. It's quite detailed here, and so I want to keep it simple, but let you know that that's new to Excel 2019 in regards to our pivot table. And when you make all these changes and you're thinking, oh, that's just too messed up, I want to go back to the way it was, go ahead and click on Reset to Excel Default, and it will automatically go back to the default. You're good to go. Now, when you make changes, the moment you click OK, it begins. In other words, when I create another pivot table, like insert a blank line, click Okie dokie, and then it pops open, goes back to our Excel options, click OK, and let's go back to our Sheet 1, select any cell within our data range. Well, let me go to the top so you can see. This is the same data range, Sheet 1. Select any cell, come up here, click on Insert, insert our pivot table, and we'll do a new worksheet. Click OK. Well, let's do the same thing. We'll get our salesperson. Then let's go down to ship date. And oh, there you go. You can already see the blank line in between, but we can finish this up. Let's go to product and quantity. And we can, well, let's select 2019 and click on expand the fields. It's now being grouped into quarters. Expand those for January. Okay, if we want to get rid of the quarters, then again, come over here to the rows and click and drag off quarters so we can get back to as we originally had it in our table. And there you go, we got our blank lines. Fabulous. It begins immediately. New to Excel 2019 is the Draw tab. Now by default it's not going to be displayed up here on the ribbon. You have to reveal it. To do that you can just right click anywhere on the ribbon and go to Customize the ribbon. And then find and check the Draw checkbox, and then click OK. And then go back up and click on the Draw tab because now it's there. Now, if you don't see an additional pencil besides the 2 pins and the highlighter, and also another pin that has a funky color to it, what I recommend doing is refreshing it by closing out of the Excel program, your file. Close out of it. The Draw tab is still up. We haven't closed that or hidden that. Close out. And then reopen your file, double click, and then click on the Draw tab, and hey, there you go. You get the pencil, hover over it. You can see in the pop-up says pencil, 1 millimeter, and then you get the funky color pen, Galaxy, 3.5 millimeters. And so all you have to do is click on it, and you can start drawing. You can see now it's in draw mode. It's highlighted with that color selected. Click and drag, and does that look Galaxy to you? Of course it does. And then to change it, you can click on the little arrow pointing down, and you got the thickness. I want to keep it as thick as possible. Different colors, different effects like ocean. Ooh, select that one. Click and drag. That looks oceany. And so that's your pin there. I mean, you can have more than 3 pins by clicking on Add Pin. You can do a pencil or a highlighter. Let's add another pin. Opens it up. By default it's going to be black. Let me choose a different thickness and choose a different color like, ooh, gold. Select that. Oh, that's nice. And then if I want to keep those the same, I can update any of these others. Instead of red, click on it, click on the drop down arrow, choose another color. This one is rose gold. Select that, and yeah, that does look rosy. Now if I want to get rid of a pin, you can, let's get rid of this one. Click on it, click on the drop down arrow and delete it, and it's gone. And then to get rid of one of these, we could call them annotations. Come up here in the Tools group, click on Eraser, and click on it to delete it. You can do it that way, or let me deselect the eraser, and you can hover over any one of these, and you can see the 4-way arrow. Click on it, and you can click and drag to move it. Also hit the delete key, and it gets rid of it. And then over to the right of that is the lasso. You can see in the pop-up, select by drawing a shape. Everything in the shape will be selected. Click on it, you get the black cross, then click and drag to draw a shape around those drawings you want to include in the selection. Let go. It selects both of them. Click and drag, and you can click off. And then to get out of this, just deselect lasso. Let me click on it again to deselect it. select one, hold down the Shift key, and select another. You can do it that way, lasso, or just Shift click. And let me click off. And then next, you have this little cool ink to shape. Automatically converts ink drawings to shapes. Now, I'll warn you, my shapes aren't that pretty. Click on it. Automatically selects one of the colors. If you want to select a different color to go with it, great. In fact, let me click on that and change it to lava. And then let's click and I don't know, let's go with the circle, see if it can get a circle. Okay, an oval, that works. And let me do a triangle. Not too bad. And then finally, if I want to use the ink to math, you just need to deselect the ink to shape, so that's available. And then select that, and you can see in the pop-up, convert handwritten mathematical expressions to text. Click on it, opens up a window, and I'm going to do something pretty complex. Okay, getting a little crazy here. Okay, you think I was going to do something really hard? That thinks it's an A. Oh, that's horrible. Let me click on erase and click on the border if I can get the eraser over it. There we go. And then write again. Now make sure you draw your 2's. Looks good. 1 plus 2 equals 3. Click on Insert. Oh, because I had the shape selected, it inserted inside the shape. That's not cool. Let's try it again. Let me click off of it, come back up and click on the Draw tab, and do my ink to math again. And this time, let's go the other way. How about 2 plus 1, huh? Does that still equal 3? Well, if it inserts it, that means it will equal 3. No, I'm kidding. Let's click on Insert, and there it is. Click over the border, and you can see 2 plus 1 equals 3. Okay, it's hard to see. I can click within it, select it, get the mini formatting toolbar, click on the font size, make it larger than life. And there's 48, and change the color, make it red. And then you'll notice that when I have this selected, I get the related contextual design tab for the equation tools, and you can just go to town on this. I do go over it in my Microsoft Word training video on equations, about inserting an equation, how to customize it. So if you want to learn more about this, you can watch my Word training video on equations. I'm going to keep it simple here, so we can just stick to the Draw tab feature. And then when I'm done, am I done? Let's go back to the Draw tab, and when you want to get out of this mode, of course, you can just click off of it. It's still in the ink to math mode, but I no longer have that little window to draw in. So if I click on it to bring it back up, write in another equation, click Insert, keep doing that. Just make sure that it's not in drawing mode, because then you won't be able to use the ink to math. Just deselect ink to shape. Let me click on it again to get our ink to math. New to Excel 2019 are the 3D models. They're a new kind of clip art you can use to increase the visual and creative impact of your workbooks. So to find out what 3D models are available and to insert them, come up here and click on the Insert tab. Go to the Illustrations group. Let me click on it to pop it open. And you can see it's right there, 3D models. You can either click on the button here to go online to see what 3D models are available, or you can click on the drop-down arrow if you have one on your computer that you want to insert from a file, or again, online. I'm going to go to online, so I'll just click the button up here. And there we go, Online 3D Models. You can type in a keyword to search, or you can look at their categories from emoji, click and drag to Under the Sea, Vintage Cartoon, all the way down to your creations. And in order to be able to upload here, you need to create an account. And you can also have my boards, meaning that when I search through all these 3D models and I find a couple that I like, instead of having to search through them all over again, I can save them to my board so I can quickly insert them later on, like in another workbook. You can click on it and see that I've got them saved for later. Click on View All, and there's the solar system and some lizard that I can select and click on Insert. I'm not going to do that. Let me hit the back arrow, and let's start afresh. Like, how about celebrations? Everybody likes to celebrate. Click on it. And let's scroll down. If there's more, then I'll start loading. You can see it started loading, and ooh, that looks fun. A heart with stars. Select it, come down and click on Insert, and there you go. Looks like any other shape, where you get the resizing handles, as we talked about in an earlier training video. that when you hover over any one of those circles, you see arrows pointing in opposite directions, that when you click and drag out, it gets larger, click and drag in, gets smaller. You also get the rotation handle that when you hover over it, you get a black arrow, that when you click and hold down the left mouse button and go to the left, you rotate left, right, whoa, all the way around. Ooh, it actually jumped. Let me roll back up, and then click and drag, and there, that's straight. You can click on it and hold down the Shift key and rotate to left or right by 15 degrees. I'm going to go back so it's straight again. But different than any other shape, well, when it comes to the 3D model shapes, is that you get these two arrows, one going down and one going around, that when you hover over the center of it, you get a black arrow turning in on itself, that when you click and you start moving your mouse around, oh, that is so cool, look at that. Oh, on the side, on the top, what's behind? Oh, how very ordinary. Let's go back to the front. There we go, some stars. Now, if you're not sure about your ability to click and drag around and you want it just so, you can come up here to the 3D model views and hover over to get a preview of the left. If you want it exactly to the top, click on it and it'll be like that. I'm not going to have it, so I'll move off. Next is you can pan and zoom by right-clicking on it, and it's right there, pan and zoom. Click on it, and to the right of it you get a magnifying glass that when you hover over it, you'll see arrows pointing up and down. When you click and you drag up, you zoom in. Going down, of course, zooms out. And then let me let go to pan while you're still in this mode. It'll still be in this mode until you right-click and deselect this option. You just need to come over here, hover over the shape until you can see a four-way arrow, then click and drag and pan to the left, gets cut off, pan to the right, gets cut off, pan down. I'm creating a pandemic here. Let me move it back to the center. There we go. Now to get out of this, so I can actually click and drag it and move the shape over to column O, and then I need to right-click and deselect pan and zoom. Do that. Now I can click and drag and move them around. Now, as I mentioned, you can actually create your own boards that when you find a shape you really like, you don't want to have to search for it again. To do that, you want to go to, let me open up Microsoft's Edge. Up at the top in the URL, you can see remix3d.com. That's REMIX, the number 3, and then d.com. You can see it right there, hopefully. And then what you can do is you can create an account that when you do that, you can, well, take a look at your stuff. Click on My Stuff there. And there's my account. And down below, I can upload a model, or I can look at my boards, create new boards, and this is what I have saved for later. Click on it. And there we go. Remember these two guys, the solar system and the lizard? Except, how come this guy is now showing? Well, I added him, and what makes him different from the other two is this is actually like a movie, an ongoing, running 3D model that I'll show you. You can see in the upper right-hand corner, you get a dude in motion there running. That's more like a movie, is the best way to explain it. So if I click on this guy, it opens it up. You can see the Komodo dragon there. You're just rotating, not doing any animation. As opposed to, well, when I use the rolly mouse, it zooms out, roll back to zoom in, and then click and drag to rotate him. Oh, just crazy. And then to pan and zoom, hold down the right mouse button, and you can go to the right or, okay, left. He's way out of there. Okay, so that's one example. Let's go back of somebody who's not animated as opposed to this guy, the T-Rex. Click on it. You see how he's in motion? You got the play button. It keeps going. And he's roaring. Ooh, spooky. So, same thing. You can click and drag to watch and see what it looks like when he's stepping on you. And then you can also, as we just did, right-click to pan. Let me right-click again. Pan right, pan left. You have to hold down the right mouse button. And then if you do the rolly button on the mouse, and you roll in, roll out to zoom out. In any case, those are the options there that you have access to, that you can either, giving a presentation, come right here and then click on the full screen. And then you can really get some great close-ups, like roll in. Oh, he's coming to get you. In any case, I'm going to click full screen and close out. New to Excel 2019 are the icons, and they're used to visually communicate using symbols. So to insert an icon, come up here, click on the Insert tab, go to the Illustrations group. Let me click on it to pop it open. And there you go, icons. Click on it, and you get a list of categories over the left-hand side, quite a few. And then to the right, they're just all black. There's no color. So to find one that you like education, and hey, ring the bell, school's back in, select it, click on insert, and it's everything else we went over in this level. When it comes to resizing your shapes, objects, you got the resizing handles, hover over it, click and drag those circles to make it larger than life. And click and drag it to push it, make it smaller. You got the rotation, click and drag left, right, whoa. Hold down the shift key to move in 15-degree increments. Like I said, we covered this in quite a few training videos now. So hopefully this is going to be more of a review to you, unless you didn't watch those other training videos. So with it selected, know how to resize it, rotate it. You can come up here on the Format tab to the Graphic Styles, and let's hover over this, and ooh, Light 1, Fill, Colored, Outline, Accent 2. Select it. That's nice. You can also fill it with the color. Click on it and choose something. Ooh, I'm getting kind of artsy. Blue Accent 1, lighter 80%. Maybe the graphics outline. Right now it's in red, so I'll leave it as such. How about Graphic Effects? Click on it. You can give it a shadow, but I'll pass it. Reflection, this one right here, tight reflection, touching. Oh, that's touching. Click on it and click off. Oh, that's kind of nice, like the bell over some sort of water. Select it again, click on it again, and the last thing I'll probably do is something that glows. 8-point red accent color 2. Select it, and that's my bell. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel to get notified of the latest videos. And for great specials on my products, please look in the description below this video.